Welcome back. We're here for another series of STPL. We're going to be heading into ReV versus NetWars. Should be really cool. NetWars obviously one of the strongest teams in Season 1, doing pretty well in Season 2 as well, but ReV really one of the major underdog stories here in Season 2. They've gone from being one of the lower end teams in Season 1 to doing incredibly well in Season 2, and that's with the help of a couple of their additions to their roster, as well as a very good team spirit. Let's actually have a look at how these two teams have done historically. ReV have played against NetWars twice, and unfortunately they did fall both times. ReV obviously only winning 7 of their series overall, when NetWars have won 23. Now that is best of 5s. I should probably clarify that, because that means out of all their matches, NetWars have won 23 of them. And in Season 1, NetWars got second place in 2 of the playoff series. So NetWars, an incredibly good team. And ReV doing really well this season as well. Let's actually have a look at today's matchups. We're going to have Zinkler versus Koga in a PvT to start us off on Neo Arkanoid, Future's favorite map. Then we get head into a PvP between... No, that's Aviverse. Wait. Oh no, have I got the players around the wrong way? Oh no, I haven't. It's CRVT versus Yeti on Carthage 3, Abby versus Wolf on Desperado, and Bug versus Ziggy on Neo Outlier. And then of course, if we do make it to that ace match, we will have a game on New Tornado as well. Definitely one of my favorite maps of the series. Now let's actually have a look at our first map here in Neo Arkanoid. Now this is of course going to be a TVP. TVP on this map has historically been incredibly balanced in the STPL, 5 for 5 actually in this case. It's a super cool matchup. We've had a lot of very good games on here, so I'm looking forward to how these two players are going to be doing. As we have a look at our first one here, it's going to be Zinkler, our Hungarian player from ReV. Really cool player. He's only played 2 games though. He has lost both of them unfortunately, but he's certainly someone with a lot of spirit as he goes into each game, and hopefully will give us a very good game. So let's have a look at his opponent. Fighting for NetWars, of course, this guy needs no introduction. He is rank 3 in the overall STPL rankings. It's Koga. Koga, a very strong Terran player in the NetWars lineup. He's 13 for 6 against Protoss, and he's got a 78% win ratio overall. He's won 7 of his last 10 games as well, and overall, Koga is definitely one of the best foreign Terrans outside of Korea. So really cool player. Cannot wait to see him as we get into game number 1. It's Koga versus Zinkler on Neo Arkanoid. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Red Terran fighting from Poland for NetWars. It's Koga. Or as I called him initially in 2016 when I first casted one of his games, Koga T. Oh wow, yeah, that was fun. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left hand corner in the blue, fighting for ReV from Hungary. It's Zinkler. Okay, now TVP on this map can be incredibly fast. It can also be very long as well. We've had nukes on this in Terran vs Protoss when the Ghost King Radley played. Koga definitely plays a little bit more straight up than that, so I don't think we're going to be seeing that, but I'm wondering exactly what Zinkler's going to do here. Now we've got a gateway first, so no Nexus first here or anything too crazy like that. But looks like Koga is going to be going for a 14cc himself. Okay, so one of the benefits of this map is when you're going for a very greedy build, there is a lot of buildings in the way. Let's actually have a quick look at the full map. You have the temples here. That is then succeeded by these power generators, which block the way from going either through the middle or around the side. And then there's a higher health temple blocking your expansion. So it does make it quite difficult to break through, but we did just see a ZBT where essentially Essen went for 2 hatcheries super early with a pool and broke through all the temples in the middle and managed to kill Reyna before he could do anything. So 2 gate is also a surprisingly good build on this map for the same reason. One of the best games I've seen on this map, which is kind of ironic, is a PvP where anytime beat Jangbi by 2 gating at the beginning of the game. Jangbi played too greedy, and anytime broke through and killed him with 2 gate zealot. That was one of my favorite games on this map, which is kind of strange, but it's a really, really good map for that kind of play now. We've got a core coming up here as well, so he is going to transition into Dragoons behind this, but Zealots obviously do a handy job of breaking through these temples, much like Zerglings do, and Zealots break through them insanely quickly. Now, the one downside of doing this kind of build is you do not know where your opponent is spawned as Protoss, or Terran, in fact, until you get like a scanner, or you glitch like a probe through or something, which is possible, but very, very difficult to do due to locations. Now, just look how quickly this first temple has gone down. We're at 3 minutes 24. Kogut, realistically, has a factory, which is almost done. Now, the Zealot's obviously a lot slower at killing them than Zerglings, because in a minute's time in that ZBT, the Zerglings broke into Reyna's main. So one thing that Zinkler's going to have to do is break into the middle and kind of go around from there and see where to go. Now, are we going to see Reavers behind this? I'm not too sure, but that could be kind of cool if we do. We've got Kogut going for this kind of off-center command center. This does give you access to this geyser, and you can also mine the minerals. A little bit less efficient than normal. But you can see that Zinkler is actually going in the wrong direction. This is one of the problems when taking a gamble like this. You have to just make a guess. Like, look at what Zinkler can see. He can see the forecourt, or he can see the middle, which is great, but he can't see where Kogut spawned. Now, is he going to try and glitch through a probe with a pylon? This is really, really difficult to do, but if he can, that would actually be very, very clever. Obviously, you can also try and scout for a building. Oh, is he going to do it? Yes, he is. Oh, nice job, Zinkler. No! Oh, it's so difficult to do that. Gets the probe in. This at least rules out the top right-hand spawn. And nicely done by Zinkler. Now, if you want to know how that works, essentially, you have to push your probe with a building pylon by just building it behind you, and then you have to spam click to get through the building, otherwise it won't let you do it. Now, it's a bit harder to do it from this angle, so are we going to see Zinkler being able to get back out? Looks like not with that attempt, but still has a chance. Now, funnily enough, there is a barracks flying in here that's going to give away Kogut's position, but it's not until Zinkler has... Oh, I missed the probe, but that's fine. We saw it go through one way. Zinkler, unfortunately, does not see the barracks just yet. That is so unfortunate. Now, finally, he does. And look at this. All of the Protoss units immediately turning around. Unfortunately, trying to break through last is certainly going to cause a problem here. Kogut sees there's no expansion at the bottom, but doesn't know there's no expansion over at the 9 o'clock position. So that's at least something, but obviously Kogut with the double command center production. Zinkler has been cutting probes to build double Dragoons as well. If Zinkler cannot make this attack work, he is going to fall down in this game, but Kogut doesn't have that much. He's got 2 tanks, a third factory coming in, but there's no additional tanks on the way. And Zinkler could actually do a lot of damage here. And Kogut's not prepared to defend against this because he's like, well, no one's ever going to push me. Look at this, he's sending all of his tanks over to defend against a drop that he thinks is coming. And yes, there's a robo and there's a shuttle on the way. But Zinkler's in your main base now. If Zinkler jumps, he can do a ton of damage here. This could be a massive upset. The Protoss units getting into the main range looks like it's just about finished here for the Dragoons. And if he can get these zealots on top of the tanks, he is going to do a ton of damage. Obviously, Kogut has a massive supply lead when it comes to a worker count here. So losing a few SCVs is not going to be the end of the world. Nice repair on the tank, but one of the tanks does go down. Zealots getting on top of this as well. But I think Kogut may have held on with this. A really, really nice set of micro to keep his tank alive. This is kind of like the micro we saw from him in the Corrupted Cup against Eonzerg. But unfortunately, it looks like Zinkler's attack is doomed to fail, but there is a shuttle here now, so we could see some really cool pickup, drop-down micro. And if he can kill these two tanks, there's not going to be that much back to defend now. Unfortunately, the Dragoon pulled back, so it's only going to be one Dragoon against a fully repaired siege tank. That is not going to work. But there's an additional 2 Dragoons in this shuttle now. He is going to push forward with them, see if he can dive on top of the tank, but one of the Dragoons very, very low on health. And the repair from Kogut just too strong. Nicely done by Kogut here. +1 attack is on the way. He is up by nearly 30 workers. By nearly 30. He's almost up by 30. And Zinkler is definitely on the back foot now. There's no expansion. He's going into a 3rd gateway. He is going fully all in. And just to think, if he'd have actually continued breaking through this area, or if he'd have sent his probe in a different direction at the very beginning, maybe he could have got the win here, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for him. Now there's a starport here which is going to be able to chase away the shuttle. Obviously he does need to be careful because there is still a ton of Protoss units coming out of these 3 gateways, but this is it for Zinkler. He is all in on these 1 bases. There's a robo coming up, and we've got a depot being added on here as well by Kogut. Really nicely done. Just making it so the Protoss cannot break through right away now. Zinkler is going to try and break through and get on top of these siege tanks, but we all know what happens when Dragoons try and engage tanks most of the time, but he breaks through. He's only got 3 of his Dragoons left, but he is going to be able to clean down some of these Goliaths. Nice stutter step by Zinkler, going to keep those alive. And maybe he can take out a couple of extra tanks, and if he does, there's going to be nothing to contest the ReV. He gets one of them. Oh, a little bit of a mischance there with the Dragoon pushing forward a little bit too late, trying to siege up the tank. It does go down, and Zinkler has cleared a ton of the units from Kogut, but does it matter? Where is the ReV? The ReV hasn't even finished, and I think the shuttle went down as well. I can't seem to find the shuttle anywhere. Oh no, there's the shuttle. Okay, so he is going to have a ReV coming in, but I don't know if he's going to be able to break this. We've got a Zealot on top of the tank. Does go down. The Dragoon's taking a ton of damage here. And we've actually got a lot of misrallied units just in the top right of the map here. Now, the ReV has finally come out. There's no, it hasn't. Almost. There's no shuttle speed though. He can't really afford that when pumping off of 3 gateways. And slowly but surely you'll see Kogut is going to start to defend this a lot better. Double wall here, making it very difficult for those goons to get through. But the tanks should be able to hold on. And yeah, as Yaj points out, Kogut's supply, he's on 83 supply overall, and 63 of that is in workers. It's kind of insane. He's got 60 workers, 20 army units. So maybe Zinkler, whose army supply is considerably higher, can possibly break through. Now there's a turret here. Oh, if he loses the shuttle, this is just going to be game over right here, right now. But looks like he is going to be able to keep it alive for the time being. But can he bust through? There's a Wraith here. There's 2 Goliaths. The ReV could actually go down before it even gets a chance to come out the shuttle. No, it just comes out. Is the Scarabs going to be enough? No, a single Scarab goes down. That's not going to be enough to break through this. And I think we could be seeing the dying breaths of Zinkler here in this game. And GG, Zinkler taps out Kogut. Oh, he said... I thought he meant congrats on the expansion, but he means congrats on Corrupted Cup. Oh man, that confused me. But yeah, that's going to be the end of game number 1. And we'll take a very quick break, and then we'll head into game number 2 when we get back.
people like Kix, for example, who has an encyclopedic knowledge of every map that's ever been released on StarCraft. And
he's the map man! Skibidi-bidi-bidi-on do-do-do. Skibidi-on do-do-do. Skibidi-bidi-bidi-on do-do-do. He's the map man! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-boop. Ba-ba-ba-da-boop. Bee-da-ba-ba-da-boop. Ba-ba-ba-da-boop. Everybody plays one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, I don't let nothing hold you back. If Kix can do it, so can you. Gooba-dooba-dooba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-boop. Ba-ba-ba-da-boop.
Please don't listen to him for maps.
Yeah.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into map number 2 here in our series between ReV and NetWars. We're speeding through the game so far today. We're already 1 and a bit way through a second series. Obviously we had 2 walkovers in Series 1, but Series 2 certainly looking to heat up a little bit here. The next game is going to be on Carthage 3, one of my favorite maps from Season 2, a very, very standard 2-player map. I know it doesn't get that much play outside of the STPL, but it really, really should do. It's such a good map here in Season 2. We've had some amazing games. Now, this is going to be our first PvP on this map, so that's something cool. We haven't seen a PvP here, so let's introduce both of our players. Starting us off here for CBRT, or starting us off here for ReV, we're going to have CRVT. I believe this is the Latvian flag. I know CRVT is in chat and he's told me many, many times where he's from, so I do apologize if I've got it wrong. I have to remember a lot of information, unfortunately, and I have the memory of a sieve, so it's all good. But CRVT doing very, very well for ReV, a really breakout success here in Season 2, winning 6 of his last 9 games. If I can count, no, that's 5 of his last 9 games. Apparently I am very bad at basic maths, but a 55% win ratio overall, in the upper end of the STPL ELO system, rank 15, nothing to be scoffed at. But his opponent going to be the one, the only, the Polish powerhouse. It's going to be Yeti. Yeti, rank 7 in the STPL, has been an incredible player overall, all throughout Season 1, all throughout Season 2 so far, and he has been up against some of the best players in the league as well. Yeti with a 70% win ratio overall. He has one of the best win ratios against Protoss in the entire tournament. He's actually 13 wins, 4 losses against Protoss, which is just ridiculous, and he's certainly going to be a difficult opponent for CRVT to face off against. He did actually play and beat CRVT before, so this is a bit of a chance for CRVT to get his revenge as we head into map number 2. It's Carthage 3. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have the blue Protoss fighting from Poland for NetWars. It's Yeti. And his opponent spawning down here in the red from Latvia. It is CRVT fighting for ReV. Now, an interesting thing to point out from that statistics window is Yeti's highest win streak against Protoss was 10 wins in a row, and that is very, very difficult to go up against. I mean, Yeti obviously showing his might in Season 1. One of the only Protoss players he lost to was actually DeWalt, and that game was won by the skin of DeWalt's teeth. A couple of missed shots from low ground to high ground made it a little bit difficult. Now, one thing about this map is there's the temples in the middle of the map, making it a little bit harder to break through. And as you'll see here, there are these two paths here. There's one here, and there's some bases on the left-hand right flanks, which you can push through, but obviously they are quite choky. So we may have a little bit of a longer game here as we head into this. Now, we're going to have Gateway into gas by CRVT, whereas Yeti is just going for a gateway. No gas just yet. So he is breaking the mold of mirror builds. Nope, there we go. Gas coming in as well. And now this could be just a reactionary play, seeing his opponent going for gas, knowing it's not really worth going for a second gateway. But obviously a second gateway does force out a second gateway from your opponent. So getting that early scout is super important. And interestingly, CRVT has not opted to scout whatsoever. So CRVT definitely confident in just playing in the way he likes to. Now, Yeti has Mana Pylon CRVT here, which makes it a little bit harder to mine from these mineral patches. And we do have two probes that are completely stuck behind this pylon. Yeti obviously going to make this as annoying as humanly possible. This is minerals that are not being spent on units. Now, CRVT finally going to go to scout. You can actually glitch these out from behind the minerals, but it's very, very difficult to do. You can only glitch one of them out normally as well. So okay, so there's obviously the gateway's done. The goon is on the way. We're going to see a zealot first from Yeti as well. But Yeti obviously supply blocking himself by losing that pylon. A little bit unfortunate, but not the biggest deal. Obviously the missed mining from CRVT is definitely going to be a little bit more important. But both teams fairly even so far. Obviously, I'd say that Yeti has probably lost a little bit more. So CRVT is in a pretty good spot, but I'm kind of interested to see exactly where this game is going to go from here. Now, we've actually had a lot of very, very long PvPs in the STPL, and I think given CRVT's other games against players like Eriador on this map, I think we are going to get quite a long one here. Now, that's kind of cool. Long PvPs are preferably my favorites. Obviously, short PvPs can be fun too, but when you see someone get killed by Dragoon Micro, it's obviously fun. But it's obviously not the best in terms of kind of macro game style and everything. It's not very often you do get to see super late game PvP, but it's really, really fun. You get a lot of storm drops, a lot of ReV drops. You can sometimes see Dark Archon coming in with mind control, with feedback as well. And that's kind of the PvP I want to see. Now, we've had some amazing, amazing PvPs, like the one in the STPL Season 1 Grand Final between Noob and Best, and that was really, really good. Now, second gateway coming up for CRVT, going into Robo behind it. Yeti is also doing exactly the same thing. Mirror builds, mirror matchup, very, very standard for STPL here. And it looks like the probe is going to get in, see no expansion. And he's not going to be able to really tell too much else. He should be able to tell the gateway count didn't go above 1 just yet, so he should be feeling pretty great about that. He can tell that by the number of units, as well as obviously he's got the same. So that's always good. Obs coming in first here from CRVT, not taking any chances by skipping Observatory. Obviously one of the big ways you can lose in PvP is you just have someone immediately send just a DT at your base and you die. So CRVT certainly playing carefully. Yeti is as well. Both players going into Obs before a support base. So no Reavers are planned just yet. Is there going to be a third gateway added for both players? Or are they actually going to go into Reaver? There's been a shuttle produced already for Yeti, which is kind of interesting given the lack of support bay, but that's going to come in second. Now, has CRVT built one? No. CRVT has gone immediately for an Observer, so the Observer's going to go a little bit quicker, but it's not going to do too much. It looks like CRVT giving away Yeti's secret strats, helping out the other Protoss players playing in STPL. Obviously Future, if you're still around, you can join, and now you have the power, as well as CRVT, to understand what Yeti's probably going to do. Okay, now it looks like CRVT is going to try and move to intercept this observer. No, there's no second observer coming in, so not going to be able to do that, but is going to be able to push. Obviously, observer from Yeti is just about going to see that. Sorry, I ticked off the wrong name. Now, funnily enough, Yeti is going to try and move in to apprehend this attack. Now, we've got both players going into a ReV finally. Obviously, the shuttle is done for Yeti, so Yeti's going to be able to be the one to be a little bit more aggressive at the beginning. But obviously CRVT is going to be able to waddle his ReV out to his natural and at least defend with it for now. Okay, I'm just reading like chat for a second and I can see Psychro says, I always say your name to myself like the noise a frog makes to CRVT. I'm trying to work out what noise that is. Is it like curve it or something? Like it... the way, like in English, or at least in British English, like we say frogs say ribbit, even though they don't, so I don't really get it. Okay, so Yeti is going to look to put on a little bit of pressure here. Now, is CRVT going to be able to defend against this? Do we have a second ReV? Yes, we have a second ReV before a shuttle, which is going to be very, very pivotal in helping with this defense. Now, a lot of the probes have just pulled into the natural. Looks like CRVT going to move forward a little bit, see if he can take out some of the units, but unfortunately taking a lot of Scarab hits. Oh, that's a big Scarab hit from CRVT's ReV. And it looks like CRVT is actually going to be able to defend this. Really, really big Scarabs going off from both sides. A really, really even trade here to start us off in this game. Obviously, CRVT having a little bit of extra supply, so did get the better end of that engagement. But certainly a good engagement. Did I just mumble Kermit? What? Oh, like Crivet. Okay. So kind of like Ribbit, but Crivet. I get it. I must admit, I don't even know if CRVT is the way you're supposed to say it. But I don't know. I've just been saying it that way so long that I don't think I can change it. It's like I still don't know how to play or how to say Kyrie. People keep trying to explain it in chat, and I'm like, it doesn't help. I don't know if it's Kiri or if it's Kyrie. Okay, CRVT is going to be the one now with a shuttle up, so he is going to be able to do a little bit of aggression himself with double ReV. Yeti has got double ReV as well though, so we're going to have some ReV on ReV action very, very shortly in this game. Now, has CRVT gone for shuttle speed? No, not just yet. Obviously, shuttle speed is a super important upgrade to go for, and neither player has actually opted to get it just yet, so we're not going to see any kind of mass super quick ReV drops into the main and the natural because shuttles just aren't that fast initially. Okay, so in terms of how this game is going, we've got 4 gateways here for CRVT. He's going into a Citadel, which will lead into a Templar Archives. We've got Yeti with 5 gate. So going for the additional gateway, going to get the production up a little bit quicker. The natural expansion was a little bit later though. So Yeti taking a probe deficit at the moment. Now, necessarily, if you're going to stay on 2 base for a while, this isn't that bad. Because you are pretty well saturated on both your bases. But the problem comes when you need to try and take a third. And if you don't have the kind of probe count to saturate the new base, you're going to be really far behind. Now, CRVT is continuing to build probes here just to make sure when that third base comes up initially, he'll be able to send some units over. Now, Templar Archives is on the way for CRVT. Citadel has only just started here for Yeti, so Yeti delaying everything to get that initial the extra gateway up. And probe production has been resumed, so Yeti going to be able to think about taking a third base as well. Ah, so it's Latvian for learning. So, okay. So just to give a bit of context, if anyone's watching on the YouTube VOD later, Incomplete says CRVT is Latvian for learning and is pronounced Shrivat. So maybe I'll say Shrivat. It might be a little bit easier than saying CRVT. but essentially it's a nickname, which is cool. Okay, so legs coming in. Zealot speed, obviously very, very important in PvP, very important for Zealots in general, and it's one of the things the StarCraft 2 team are looking to balance in to StarCraft 2. Looks like they're adding Zealot leg speed in, which is kind of funny. We're only like 3 expansions in StarCraft 2, and now they're putting Zealots back to Brood War. Oh man, Incomplete is trolling. I can't believe it. I thought he was a nicer person than this. How can he troll a poor caster who's slaving over a hot microphone to put money or to put food on the table, you know? But here we go. CRVT gonna push forward a little bit. Yeti obviously getting ready to push his way across the map now. I can't tell where that Dragoon came from, but here we go. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of engagement here as Yeti pushes forward. CRVT moving forward to engage to try and help. There is more Reavers left alive for CRVT, but Yeti has pushed one of them. And Yeti, despite having more units, is going to pull back because he knows just how strong Reavers can be. And that's certainly not the fight you would expect someone to retreat from, but looks like he's going to go back, gather his forces a little bit, and push forward once again. He's got 2 Reavers again in his shuttle, and that's obviously going to be a big bonus over the single Reaver that's almost dead from CRVT. So let's see if Yeti can break through once again, dropping the Reavers off a little bit far away from the engagement, but still in a good position. Oh my god, these Scarabs doing so much damage. A lot of damage coming in from these Reavers. Nice hot pickup here by Yeti to be able to keep his Reavers alive at the back. And Yeti with a very big advantage now in supply. The Reavers are very close to death, and very nice pickups by Yeti here. No Scarab upgrade obviously for either player. But looks like CRVT just has a little bit too much. A good trade from Yeti has turned into a diabolical one as CRVT gets an amazing concave and does manage to take down most of the units. Now luckily enough for Yeti, the Reavers do survive. The shuttle pulls away, and that is a very important moment. If he'd lost those Reavers in the shuttle, he would likely just die to a counterattack. But now both players are not going to be able to do too much. Now CRVT has gone for a very quick third base here. Well, I say very quick, we're 13 minutes into the game, but compared to Yeti's third, it is super early. And we've still seen no real economic damage done by either player. Now when Storm starts coming in, which we do have both players going up to now, that's where things start to change, because Storm drops melt probes, and CRVT is going to look to push through the middle of the map. In terms of upgrades, we have Yeti with the 0/0, CRVT with the +1 attack, so that's obviously another little benefit. He's also going immediately into +2, so that's very close to done as well. Now, I thought this was Observer, I thought it was going to be a shuttle, but unfortunately not. We're going to have Yeti building Archons. That's not necessarily what you want. Storm, definitely a lot stronger than Archons, at least early on. But Archons, as they gain more upgrades, gain a lot of value against Mass Zealot. Kind of they do against Mass Zergling as well. Now, no additional tech from either player, but CRVT is pushing the limits, pushing the boundaries here, going for an immediate 4th base at the mirror only. And Yeti is only just now starting to try and secure his 3rd base, and this is certainly a good position for CRVT to be in. Obviously, if CRVT can win this game, he'll tie up the series 1-1, which is always good to see. And look at this, oh my god, all the probes are actually transferring into the Protoss. Looks like the probes do manage to get by, but big engagement. Looks like Yeti is going to be forced fighting uphill with Zealots against a Reaver. Now the 2 Reavers at the back unable to connect. Getting some big connections now. Lots of Archons though from Yeti doing a ton of damage. CRVT's army is melting right now, but more reinforcements coming in. And Yeti's Reaver is so important. One of them does go down, the other one gets picked up, but the shuttle goes down. A massive misstep here from Yeti, and it looks like CRVT has broken through Yeti's defenses. and may have just gone on to win this game. The natural is being evacuated. The Dragoons have not been re-rallied just yet. There is a single Reaver back here, which is all that keeps Yeti in this game at the moment. Obviously CRVT with a massive economy lead and a huge army lead as well. The reinforcements coming through immediately. A Zealot in the main base, going to take down this Reaver. Unfortunately, that Reaver Scarab for some reason not attacking the close ones, so he doesn't save himself, but units filtering into the third base. CRVT knows this now, but more importantly, he's in the main, he's on top of the production, and Yeti is in a very, very difficult spot now. If he can hold on to this, it would take a miracle. He's down 50 supply plus. And he's certainly not looking good here in this game, but Yeti, an incredible player nevertheless. CRVT on the day has done an incredible job. GG, Yeti taps out. CRVT in an upset takes down Yeti in game number 2. Okay, so that was a pretty sick game. Really, really well played by CRVT. Yeti obviously tried to go for a bit of a bust early on. It didn't work. And from that moment, CRVT rode his advantage all the way to the bank as he does tie up the series 1-1. And when we get back after this short break, we'll be heading into game number 3. It's going to be Wolfix versus Abby. See you guys very soon. Neo Arkanoid also makes its appearance in STPL Season 2, a map from 2006. It's from the OGN Star League from back then, one of the early OSLs. And it's a semi-island map. I think one of the first of its kind that got major use after about the year 2004. It's one of a kind. I don't think I've ever seen another map like it. There's temples and power generators absolutely everywhere, making it very difficult to get through the middle of the map. The air units, of course, going to be very important here. The one problem all 3 races are going to have is the very easy to take second and third bases. They both have gas, but they are blocked by those chrysalises, so it makes it important to build a few aggressive units early on in order to get that second and third gas as soon as you can. Important thing to note, if you do open up that center, the rush distance is very small. Okay guys, we are back and we are going to be heading into game number 3 between ReV and NetWars. The series is tied up 1-1 and our next map is going to be here on Desperado, one of my favorite maps. I know I say that about every single one, but genuinely, when I first played this map I think it was about 10 years ago, I played it for some like D-ranked team league. I was so confused by the double gas in the main. I played a TVT on it and I got absolutely wrecked, but ever since then it's been one of my favorite maps. It's a lot of fun. And Abby kind of hyping people up in the chat in his normal way for his game, because the first player we're going to introduce here is going to be Abby himself from Denmark. I saw someone from ReV calling him the Danish Prince, so that's kind of a cool nickname there. But Abby, really strong Zerg player, won 6 of his last 10 games. He's 1 for 1 against Terran, and he's got a 66% win ratio overall. A great player in ReV's roster, and his opponent fighting here for NetWars is going to be Wolfix. Wolfix has lost all 3 of his previous games, so not really too much to say about as we get into game number 3. It's Abby versus Wolf here on Desperado. Okay, starting off here in the bottom left-hand position, we have from Poland, fighting for Net Wars. It's Wolf. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand position, we do have the Black Zerg fighting for ReV all the way from Denmark. It's Abby. Now, Avi was trying to hype people up in chat before, saying he's the opposite of Koreans. He wants to show people bad games so they stop cheering for him. Well, I mean, I've not seen anyone actually cheer for you so far, Abby, so it must be working. Just gonna throw that shade out there, just as we do. But yeah, Wolf, a really, really cool Terran player from Net Wars. Looking forward to seeing how he's gonna do. And I'm interested to see exactly what Abby is going for here obviously in this game. Now, 2 Hatch Muta is certainly one of the stronger builds in ZVT at the moment, one of the more common builds as well. Kind of came back into fashion after 111 became a big thing, and Goliath builds as well, because 2 Hatch Muta is kind of the counter to Mech early on, because Mech doesn't really have the tools super early without having to spam turrets to deal with it. Now, modern 2 Hatch Muta is very, very different. It's not the super all-in variant like we used to see. Now, we are going to have a 9 pool coming in from Abby, so Abby's certainly going to look to be a little bit aggressive here, but obviously you have two gases in your main, so you don't necessarily need to take your expansion, because it is a mineral only. And Abby's going to build his hatchery at this choke to allow him to build a sunken up there and defend a little bit easier. Now, Wolfix is going into a factory here, so it is going to be a kind of a mech opening. Not sure whether it is going to be full mech, fake mech, if it's going to be 2-port Wraith or something along those lines. But we've got Lings coming out from Abby, going to block the SCV from getting into the main, which is a big, big block. Now, Wolf is going to see that there's no hatchery down here just yet, so it is only 2 hatcheries for the moment. But 3rd hatchery is going to come up now as well, so we're not going to see a super fast layer. It's going to be a 3 hatch build from Abby, which isn't the most common anymore because of +1 5 racks and all the mech openings and everything. But looks like Wolf has pulled a ton of SCVs. He does not want to lose to the Lings, and he's going to be able to hold on here. Now, he does need to repair properly if he wants to stay on this ramp. This could be a pretty big win if Abby can break up, but no, it looks like Wolf has actually managed to hold on. Luckily enough, his SCVs did hold strong. Abby finally taking his first gas here, so speed and layer are going to be a very, very long way away. Wolf actually heading up to the top right to try and escape with his SCV. Also check that there's no hidden base up there, because obviously if a Zerg player gets the other main, which is quite easy for them to do the longer the game goes on, they're going to get access to 2 additional gases, which makes their hive tech a lot easier to deal with. Now, we've got a sunken up here at the front. We do have speed coming up on the vultures first, so he's going to be going for a big run by, which Avi, if he's not prepared for, could do or take a ton of damage from. Now, this SCV still alive, but the Ling continues to follow it. Really, really nicely done by Wolfix to keep this alive for so long, though. It's not easy to do. Like, you turn and the SCV will die immediately, so if you don't micro this properly, you're certainly in a poor position. Now, the Vulture, oh my god, is the Vulture going to save the SCV? This Vulture is a king. The SCV will return home. Nicely done by Wolfix there. Obviously, a super important SCV to get back when you have such a low economy on just 1 base. Now, it is going to be 1 base drop here from Wolfix. Control tower coming in. Obviously, it could be Cloak for Wraiths, but given what we've seen, I definitely think it's going to be for a dropship first. Yeah, there we go. Dropship coming in. We're going to have a Vulture drop going into the main. Now, the good thing about that is if the run-by doesn't work, you can just drop into the main, and all of a sudden, life becomes a lot easier. Now, we're going to have Hydra upgrades coming in. Super important for the Zerg to get those. Now, somehow, one thing I've noticed is a load of people are typing in a weird grey colour in my Twitch chat on my phone. I don't know if you guys are doing that deliberately or if that's like a bug on my end, but I mean, with 4 vultures coming out here, he's actually going to show speed to the Overlord, which is a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, you want to try and keep your speed as essentially as hidden as possible. Now, he's not going to try and run past the Sunken, which can lead you to losing a couple of vultures. He's going to pick up his vultures in this dropship. Funnily enough, the vultures are quicker than that, so he's actually going to have to run all the way there and all the way back to get in. But is Abby going to be able to defend properly against this drop? This could be a massive moment in this game. There's no Hydras out just yet. The lair isn't done. So there's nothing that can contest the dropship. And here we go. The vultures coming into the main. The lings coming up. Mines have been laid. Oh, but the mines get taken out before they can explode. Nicely done by Abby so far. Only 2 of the vultures remain. The 2 vultures are more than enough to do critical damage if you get unlucky. But nice mine drag. Not taking out the vulture. Wolf doing a very, very good job with them to try and keep them alive. Oh. Whoa. How did that not blow up? He got so unbelievably lucky there. Looks like both of the vultures do survive. More mines are going to get laid. But we do have a big ling rung by into the main. Let's see how many SCVs he can get. Looks like Wolf is so busy microing his vultures. He doesn't know this is going on. So we have workers being traded for workers here. But I definitely give the vultures the advantage. Abby, though, does have a second base behind this. The lings trying to fight the SCVs do not manage to succeed. And both players have actually lost pretty much an even number of workers, but Abby has a big swell of Hydralisks coming in. And if these Hydras can get across the map, they are going to do critical damage. But another dropship coming in, well, the same dropship with another vulture, and there's going to be nothing left to defend. But the problem is, we've got more lings in the main. And there's absolutely no units that can contest these Hydralisk numbers. The Hydra Burst is just likely going to end this game. He's going to put some mines down, but he loses the Vulture. And I mean, this Vulture in the main is going to do its best. Let's keep an eye on its kills to see how much it can do. The dropship goes down. The SCVs have been pulled. And I think ReV may have done it here with Abby as he breaks through Wolf's front of his base. I mean, the Vulture has killed 3 drones, but realistically, he's not going to have a factory. His Vulture spawns and immediately dies. There is a vessel coming in, but that's really not going to help. And GG, Wolf taps out, and Abby wins game number 3. Oh, Abby. Oh, Abby. You can't win me over with, you can't win me over with, I don't even know what the flattery is what I meant to say. Okay, so a good win there by Abby. Of course, he did win with a very quick bust, but nice, nice call out. Okay, let's actually get ready for game number 4. That was a very, very quick game, so we'll go into that relatively quick. Just load up the next replay right away. While I'm doing that, if we give the win to Abby, and then introduce our next couple of players. One of them is going to be a player I've not seen so far in the STPL, so I'm not really sure how he's going to be, but it is going to be Bug. Bug is a Protoss player, and you know what, I really do need to put the race somewhere on this screen, because I never thought of putting it there, and it's so weird, but he is Protoss as far as I'm aware. It is going to be a PvP? Let me check. Oh no, it's going to be a PvT, but he is Protoss, and he's going to be up against 4 Net Wars. It's going to be Ziggy. Now Ziggy, one of the kind of newer members of Net Wars in terms of the STPL. He did play a little bit in Season 1, not too much. He's mainly there playing Captain now though, as he is captaining them in Season 2. 33% win ratio overall. And his opponent, and the map they're going to be playing on is one of my favorites this season. It's going to be Neo Outlier. Now, Neo Outlier, a very, very fun map. Lots of really good games on here. In terms of PvT, we've only seen one of them, and that was today where Pinkbrush took, no, it wasn't today, sorry. It was the other day where Pinkbrush took down Zinkler. So, not too much to talk about in the way PvT plays here until we get into the map as we go into game number 4. It's ReV versus Net Wars, Bug versus Ziggy on Neo Outlier. I have no idea what I just clicked. That's not how that's supposed to look. Let's get into the game. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom left-hand position, we do have the Magenta Terran fighting for Net Wars. It's Ziggy. And his opponent spawning down here in the pink, fighting for ReV. It's Bug. Now Ziggy, of course, from Poland. Bug, I'm not actually sure why I don't have a flag for him. I'm sure Incomplete would have told me where he's from. But after this series, I will sort that out and add that in. I may just not have a flag for him, actually. Let's have a look, see where he's from. You know what? It's not a massive issue. Oh, he's from Colombia, but he's born in France. Okay, so French-Colombian player here. Should be kind of cool to see. This is going to be the first game I've actually seen of his, so not really sure what to expect. Ziggy, obviously a little bit more well-known. He does a lot of StarCraft 2 content, a lot of Brood War content as well. One of the staff writers for Team Liquid as well on teamliquid.net. And this is a good chance as any to bring up once again our wonderful sponsors in Liquipedia. Liquipedia have given us $500 towards the initial prize pool of the tournament, and also are going to organize a bracket stage contest, which should be a lot of fun when we get to the playoffs. Really looking forward to that. Now, our other sponsor, of course, is Maturino. They have given us 200 codes to be used. They all are completely free to use, and they will add 50 cents to the overall prize pool. So if you actually have a look at this link here, click on the Maturino link, just while we're in kind of a lull in the game. If you click on that Maturino link and add the code LSTPL, you can add that 50 cents to the prize pool, and every little helps. The more codes that we use, the more likely there are that we're going to get some more and add even more money to the prize pool, which is going to be super good. Now, our prize pool in Season 1 was around $1,500. Hopefully, this season we can grow it. We've got 600-ish towards the prize pool already. And by using all the codes that Maturino have sent us, we can add another $100 to the prize pool on top of that. So obviously, let's see what we can do. Now, the probe does get taken down. Ziggy has pulled out of gas, so he's going to be going for a factory expand here, which is very standard. Oh, this could be a little bit interesting. There is a Zealot coming in here for these 3 Marines. Now, the factory has finished, so it's not going to be devastating. Oh no, the Marine actually blocking its fellow brethren. Coming out of the barracks there, causing a few issues for Ziggy. But, I mean, if you think about it, this is going to be an incredibly important game for Ziggy. If Ziggy can win here, he will take his team to the ace match. But if Bug can win, ReV will take their 3rd win in the STPL Season 2 and put them in a comfortable lead over Net Wars overall. Now, in Season 1, I definitely wouldn't really say that ReV really ever stood a chance against Net Wars, but Season 2 ReV, they're doing a lot better. They've added a ton of really good players for their roster. And I mean, the only sad thing is we don't have Medinho here this season. One other thing, I just need to quickly check something, because I don't know if my cat has been sick behind me. So I'm just going to have a quick look at this vulture for a moment, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, luckily enough, we are fine. There is no cat sick that I can find. Weird reason to have to disappear in the middle of a cast, but obviously super important. I did just miss a little bit of engagement at the front, but not really too much to worry about. That is so weird. Sometimes you just get a feeling that something's happened and it hasn't, so... Yeah, sorry guys, that was a bit of an awkward reason to go AFK. I should have paused the replay to be fair, but I didn't want to delay things any longer. But Bug gonna push through the middle of that with a couple of Dragoons. Does need to be careful, there are mines here now. Oh, this could be a big mine. Oh, that's a massive mine to take a huge amount of damage. Oh no, Bug in a terrible position here. Yeah, if you're in a live ops game, you can follow the screen, which is super cool, but unfortunately we're doing it from replays, so... Vulture gonna get into the main base once again. No mines though, so can't block the Dragoons. Now he is gonna see that there is a ReV done, or at least a shuttle done. Let's see how much damage he can do. One probe gonna go down, the Vulture gonna go down shortly after, but that's definitely a little bit of a win there for Ziggy in this game. Okay, another Vulture coming into the natural here. 2 probes on this. 3 probes in just a second. Could get 4. But looks like Ziggy, unfortunately, unable to target the probe he hit. Speed is now done. So the Vulture's going to get away. And that is a ton of damage to be doing with these Vultures early on. Yeah, one of the cool things, Ziggy's actually in the chat at the moment. His Twitch username is StarManiaBJ, and genuinely, it's really cool to see someone else whose favorite player was Fantasy, because for years on Team Liquid I was ridiculed for not liking Flash and liking Fantasy instead, and finally there's someone else who shares my same passion, so it's all good. Okay, let's see what else is going back on here at Ziggy's base. Now we do have an armory researching +1. This is a little bit later than what you'd normally see it in a normal game, but obviously Ziggy's been spending a lot of money and attention on these Vulture run bys. Very important and very powerful. But if you get a little bit too distracted by playing too aggressive, sometimes you can forget, essentially forget what's happening. Now, nice pick off on the probe, stopping Bug from being able to take a 3rd base with that. Really important. Adding on additional mines. And Ziggy is actually going to hide a command center up here. Now, this is kind of funny because that's exactly where Bug is likely going to go to expand. Now, I'd just like to throw out like a clarification. It's not that I didn't like Flash. I enjoyed Flash as a player, and I still like Flash now, but I did not enjoy watching him compared to Fantasy. Like, Flash just... Like, when Flash wins, he doesn't do anything stylish, he just kind of wins. And it's like, oh, the mines! Mines this game have done so much damage so far. And there's an observer there, and he's still getting hit by the mines, unfortunately. But yeah, Fantasy, when you saw him win a game, he picked the other person apart. Like, he didn't just build up to 200 and do a big 2-1 timing push. No, he was like in the opponent's face the entire game, picking off every single little bit of damage. And Flash just kind of outgrows his opponent and wins. And that's, to be honest, that's why in TBT, Flash versus Fantasy was always the best matchup, because they were polar opposites of Terran, and when they both met, it was a spectacle to watch, because genuinely, both the styles did quite well against each other, and they had the craziest TBTs. Now, Bug is going to go and build a 3rd base at the semi-island base at the bottom here. Now, this is a good base, but if Ziggy chooses to push through these temples, this could be a very quick base to go down. And we do have a shuttle finally with some zealots in. Going to make it a little bit harder for Ziggy to kind of deal with a possible attack coming in. Ziggy, of course, building a ton of vultures, not having that many siege tanks. This is one of the other problems of playing the kind of fantasy style-esque games, where essentially you build so many vultures that you stay on just a single. Okay, so he's got a few more tanks than I thought, but still, he's not got that many compared to where you'd normally be. Like, if you think in a standard Flash TVP, at this stage, he'd be up to a 3rd base, he'd be on 9 factories, and he would slowly be approaching 200. He'd usually get that around 12 minutes, so that shows the difference in not only the macro level, of course, of Flash being so much better than everyone, but just the difference in style as well. Because when you're trading away vultures for probes, your supply count is not going to be super high. Now, one thing I really wish we saw out of Ziggy here is getting a tank and putting some, getting a dropship and putting some tanks up here. Because if you drop tanks on that high ground, it is incredibly frustrating for Protoss to ever really push in. Now, we've got this vulture run by coming in behind. There's a lot of units here, so they're not going to be able to get into the main base, unfortunately. But he is going to be able to push the base back from his 3rd base, and he will be able to expand there, which is super, super important. And this, oh my god, the Dragoons are actually on hold position. Very, very unfortunate. Losing 2 additional Dragoons, not a position you really want to be in. Yeah, no, comparing everyone to Flash is unfair. I'm just using it as an example. Like, Ziggy is a really, really good Terran player, so don't get me wrong. But, I mean, Ziggy has been on her 3rd base for a while now. He's had this hidden base. Bug has not scouted it, and finally, Bug is going to be able to see this base. And when he sees this, he is going to be very, very surprised. Now, the problem is, how is Ziggy going to go up and defend this base? Like, if Bug chooses to attack, he's just going to be able to take it out. Now, he could even cannon rush the base if he wants to. That's kind of one of the funny things about the way Protoss operate. But here we go, the 3 Dragoons going to go up here. Are we going to see a big swell of vultures to try and deal with this? We've got Bug sending more units through the middle of the map. Now, there's no observer with these Dragoons, so this is going to be an ill-fated... Oh! Nicely dodged with that mine. But obviously 3 Dragoons getting up here. The 4th and 5th and 6th are going to be coming along with it. And Ziggy is going to just lift the command center, try and fly it away. And these SCVs are unfortunately going to be going down as they go back. Now, Ziggy actually does have a big enough army that he could go and just save this base. But he's a little bit worried because the second he pushes across, he loses the ability to defend his base. And that's why, instead of pushing to the top left, he's going to push to the bottom right where his opponent is, because he knows he's got 6 Dragoons out of position. And this is a very, very strong timing. +1 attack has just finished up, and he has a ton of tanks right now. But look at the vulture count. It's not that high. He's lost so many vultures throughout this entire game that this could be an ill-fated attack here from Ziggy, and that could, oh my god, that mine could have killed so many tanks. But luckily enough, oh, the mines! The mine's doing so much damage, but Ziggy with so many tanks able to hold on there. And Bug's army got absolutely annihilated. Now Bug going in for a counter, focusing down this comsat, making it a little bit harder to go for a scan. But nice repair coming in from Ziggy. Going to make that a little bit harder to deal with. Now at the front, we've got an Arbiter here finally. That's why he's focusing the scanner, because he wants to stop a scan coming in. As the Arbiter's Cloak is the only thing keeping these tanks away from killing his natural nexus. The army over in the top left have been killed. And it looks like he is going to try and break through. Zealots obviously very strong against sieging up tanks, so they are going to eventually be able to break through this. But with more and more reinforcements coming in from Ziggy, this could be difficult, but there's no scan. He doesn't have a scan for this, and he finally scans when the tanks have gone down. And I mean, Bug is doing a really good job holding on so far, but nice mine on top of the ramp, going to do a ton of damage to the Protoss army. Now, another scan going down, going to lose another tank. Going to lose 2 tanks to a single Zealot here. That could be massive. And oh my god, the mine drags are absolutely awful here for Ziggy. He's just taking so much damage from his own mines, but his army still manages to hold on. Obviously, it's incredibly small, but he's getting so much value with these mines, even trading his own vultures away. He's badly damaging the Protoss forces, and Bug Is he slowly getting run through here? The tank's doing a ton of damage to these Dragoons. The single zealot, though, once again, doing a ton of work. And finally, the tanks have actually spawned in or sieged in a position where they can start attacking this Nexus. Now, obviously, the third base of Bug is unassailable here by the Terran forces. But if the natural goes down, this could be bad. And close mind drag. Nearly took out both tanks. The Arbiter doing a ton of damage. A nice stasis actually coming down. Losing double forge, though, going to be super important. Let's check the upgrades. +2 attack is already done for the Protoss player. 2-1, of course, done for the Terran. Vultures in the main. The mines, unfortunately for Bug, traveling to the wrong person. And Ziggy looks like he's still trying to break through. Now, there is a Vulture and a tank up here. 2 kills, 2 kills. So 4 probes have gone down. A 5th probe going to go down as well. Lots of action all around the map, but Ziggy's main army now, both of them completely even in supply. But this army underneath the stasis field going to go down as soon as this pulls out. I was trying to guess the timing, but yeah, there we go. So those units get cleaned up. Gonna lose this vessel as well. Does he get the EMP before he loses it? No, unfortunately he doesn't. That EMP could have been critical, but the 4th base of Bug gonna go down. Ziggy is actually gonna double expand, floating his CC back to this top middle main. And Bug is going to be the one to try and be aggressive here, as he now looks to try and deny the additional bases coming in from Ziggy. Obviously, this third base doing an absolute ton. Do we have any additional units coming in? No. It's going to be just Gateway Tech and Reavers. Not going to try and transition to carriers. Not really in a position to do that in this game so far. Obviously, both these players have been trading for so long with so many units. It makes it very difficult to make any big problems here. Now obviously Bug needs a 4th base. Now he does have the option of expanding to this other island, but if he does that, if we do see dropships finally coming in for Ziggy, it could be bad. Now Bug managing to trade away a few of his units for another tank or two, but does need to be careful. He's trying to expand towards his Terran opponent, as this is realistically one of the only places he can expand to right now. And he's got a probe in his main base that's stuck trying to go to the top right. But we've got another big mine going down on the Zealots. Looks like Ziggy may just have too much. Playing a very aggressive, very fun TVP here. No! A nice double stasis. Gonna be able to keep his units alive again. And once again, both players trading to the point of even supply again. But when these stasis run out, there's going to be an additional 5 tanks killed. And that's not a position you want to be in as Ziggy. Now, Ziggy has got his 4th and his 5th base up. Looks like we have got the stasis not wearing out just yet. Almost done. But a lot of units surrounding these tanks going to make it very difficult for him to trade them away. The first 3 tanks going to go down here. More importantly, Bug does save his 4th base. Now it looks like Ziggy is not just yet done. A single DT. Oh my god, this mine drag. Oh, that could have been bad. If that mine drag had gone into all the tanks, Ziggy would be in a very bad situation. But looks like he is going to be fine. Nice D-Matrix on that front tank. The mines coming in. Not doing too much for Ziggy here. But doing a lot. Well, not doing much for Bug, but doing a lot for Ziggy. Doing a lot of damage. And Bug is going to go and try and go for the counter. But there is a lot of units back here to defend this. And his natural and his 4th base are in contention here behind this. If he moves the siege line down. But look at this positioning by Ziggy. Going to be able to take down one of the forges again. This forge is going to finish +3 attack at the very least, most likely. A +3 attack going to be super important, but the tank's cleaning up this army over here. There's no additional stasis just yet. Now he has one, but it's come in a little bit too late. Ziggy expanding to the top middle, building a ton of additional factories, and the probes are transferring through the tanks. Oh my god, how many kills has that got? 7, 4. Okay, so that was a ton of probes just going down. GG, Bug taps out, and Ziggy is going to take us into the ace match. Wait, the SCV is stuck in his main. Oh man. I didn't see that. You know what? We have the power. We have the technology. Let's go back and have a quick look at those SCVs. I guess that's what happened to all his workers when he was trying to transfer them up. But if we have a look here, while all of this was going on, if we zoom out, we'll speed it up a little bit. The SCV is completely trapped because of the temples. This is quite fun, just watching them go back, but yeah. Luckily enough for Ziggy, that didn't come into it. We are going to go into the ace match after this. A very short break. See you guys very soon.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
STPL does. Bio TVP. Wow! You got it. STPL does. Mass Scouts? No problem. Broadcast 3 nights a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2100 CEST. Fantastic casting, fantastic production, fantastic prizes. Only here on the STPL. Did you know Reavers could be this radical? How did these lings even get here? All I know is that's one dead base. STPL does. Wraiths, Valkyries, Carriers, and Corsairs. Forget about it. You won't see that anywhere else. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. DT's doing game-ending damage? Name a more iconic duo. We've even got carriers in PvZ. How amazing! A global team league on the scale you've never seen before. Don't see this in BWCL, STPL does. All that and more, only on this amazing 64-bit STPL. What BWCL don't. Impressed? I know I am. Why not support us on the link below? Patreon.com/kicks. But act fast. It's a limited offer.
Coast 103.5.
Okay guys, we're here with the ace match. Starting us off here in the top left hand corner, we do have the Black Zerg fighting for ReV. It's Avi. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand position. We do have the yellow Terran fighting for Net Wars. It's Ziggy. Now I did do a poll in chat, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, so I'm going to make another one. Apparently I can't do another one, I guess. Maybe it's a little bit too soon. Yeah. There was essentially a poll which said, who do you want to win the ace match? Do you want Net Wars or do you want ReV to win? Why not just type it in the chat, guys? Whoever you want to win, now's the chance to cheer for them. Game number 5 here on New Tornado. It's going to be a ZVT. Now, historically, I would say Abby should have an advantage here over Ziggy, but of course, we never know what's going to happen until we get into the game. Are we going to have a 6-minute curse game, or are we going to go late game? Definitely New Tornado, one of the more standard maps in the map pool, 4-player map. And is this the proper version? This will be where we see. I want people to use the STPL map pack version because we use the official Casper ones. And essentially the reason for that, yes, this is that one. The main, or the natural expansions on this base have 2,000 minerals, which is higher than the main bases. So you mine out of your natural very, very slowly. It's a very interesting mechanic that's not really used on many of the maps. Yeah, Ziggy with over 500 APM right now. He is spamming like a madman, just to like see if he can get on top of things, maybe holding his keyboard down. There isn't something wrong. Well, there kind of is. Yeah, it's 6.72 minutes. I need to change it back to a decimal point. I completely forgot to do that. I'll do that in the break between this series and the next one. I could try and find a way of figuring out how to actually calculate it back into seconds again for the minutes, but that's yeah, it's because I didn't realize it was going to put it in terms of like .x minutes. I thought it was going to be 9 minutes x seconds, but it didn't work out that way. That was my bad coding, so it's all good. Oh my god, gas steal by Ziggy, just being a little bit annoying. Being very, well, in fact being very, very annoying. Obviously Zerg do want to build this gas as soon as possible. This SCV, this plucky little SCV, it'll be doing a pretty good job here. Now, Avi, not wanting to waste any of his money, has built his third hatchery immediately away from the SCV as well. Obviously, while this SCV is trying to build the gas, it's not going to be scouting around. Now, he's given up on the gas for now. He is going to check around for any additional lings coming out. Is he going to see the third hatchery? That is going to be the important decision, the important moment in this game. Now, of course, if you know your opponent hasn't been able to build the gas, his minerals are going to have to go somewhere. And if it's not into drones or not into drones or zerglings, it must be into a hatchery. Now, he is going to see this very, very important scout. And he's going to see the sunken as well. So this SCV is going to get out with its life, but very, very close to death. Now back at home, Ziggy is going into a factory expand here. Bless me. Going into a machine shop as well, without a single vulture. And apparently I'm not on D&D somehow. I usually am. But there's the Ghost King himself speaking to someone in Polish. And here is the vulture. So the vulture, not going to obviously lay any mines for the time being. The machine shop isn't yet done, but it is going to stop lings from being able to run across the map completely free. Now, does Ziggy see the Hydralisk then? I don't think he has just yet, and he can't really push forward with the vulture just yet either, because he will lose it, so needs to be careful. Xmog, that's a really, really clever way of doing it, but I don't actually know how to code that, so I'll have to look into it. It's not a big deal. I'll just change it to like 6.72 minutes. Like, if I put it back to a point, it's fine. Nassel coming in with, if Avi wins this, he'll stay and watch the next clan war. If not, he's going to run outside and cry. Nassel, obviously a very passionate member of ReV. I think a lot of the ReV team are very passionate, so that's one of the cool things about Clan Revolution. They have a very, very close, tight-knit team. Obviously, NetWar is very tight-knit as well. They are essentially the Polish community for Brood War and StarCraft 2. I'm not sure if there's like a NetWars for other games as well, but I know there's definitely NetWars for the two StarCrafts. Very, very good players as well in both games. Poland definitely like the kind of esports mecca in Europe, I would say, compared to anywhere else. Maybe Sweden is probably the next one, but Poland's certainly up there. They have some incredibly good esports teams, and their Brood War clan, NetWars, of course, also very good as well. So we've got two factories coming in here for Goliath production, engineering bay on the way as well. Now, this is the kind of situation I think Avi thrives in. He is very good for busting Terrans when they play a little bit too greedy or maybe go a little bit too tech heavy. And let's see if Avi can once again make Lightning strike twice and Hydra bust yet another Terran player. Of course, that's how we saw him win the previous game on Desperado. against Wolf. So now Ziggy, of course, is a big fantasy fan, so likely going to see a more fantasy-esque style of mech once again. Probably very aggressive play coming out from Ziggy. And that's always exciting to see. We saw a little bit of that patented Vulture micro a little bit earlier. Taking down the Hydra is not easy to do at all. But obviously if you can manage to make it work, you can do a ton of damage. Now, doesn't seem like he's researched mines just yet, which is kind of interesting. Going for speed first. Skipping mines entirely, though, is very, very strange. Now, are we going to see the Vultures be able to get into the main? Obviously, when you have 2 with speed, you can actually do a ton of damage. Now, it looks like he's going to split off and see if he can find the 3rd base. Now, he doesn't know about this base, and he does not know about this base. Avi playing incredibly greedy, but this is how you play Zerg against mech. You just take the whole map, and you leave it to the Terran player to be able to try and do something about it. Now, unfortunately, Ziggy... Did Ziggy see this? I think he just saw this, but he didn't see the 4th base, so... Oh, he's actually going back in to check. Oh, he's sending another Vulture up here to check. Yeah, he's really not sure if he saw it. Yeah, he's seen it now. So he does know there is a 3rd base. This could lead him to add on 3 additional factories and go for a 5-fact push. There is a really heavy timing you can hit against Zerg if you push as their 3rd gas starts to kick in. Because obviously that's when they go into Hive. That's when they spend a lot of money on things that are not attacking units. Now this Vulture is going to be able to get it. Oh, he doesn't get the drone. Obviously the drone does regen a single bit of health when it takes a bit of damage. Oh my god, he saves both the drones. Admittedly, he turns them into buildings, but they're buildings he has to build anyway. Nicely done. Now, one of the Overlords going down here. The Hydra is going to bust in, or at least try to take out a couple of these units. This tank on the high ground, though, in a very, very good location. Avi, though, I mean, he's doing a really, really good job defending against these Vultures, but the Vultures still managing to get through. They do have speed. They go very, very fast. But with the Sunken Colony coming up here, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to find any damage. Now, this space is undefended for now, but of course, Ziggy does not know about it. Will be a long way away from knowing about it as well, because when you go mech, you get your scanners a lot later, and that's because you essentially want to go into as many factories as you can afford. Now, this is actually going to be a 6-fact build against Zerg. This isn't something you see every day, but it is incredibly aggressive because you just get so many units. But it is kind of do or die, because when you're pumping out of 6 factories, much like what happens when you're against Protoss, you cannot afford a command center. And unless you cut units, which will obviously completely oh, the mine! Getting a Hydra, nicely done. Yeah, but if you don't kill your opponent with this push, you can be very, very far behind. It's very difficult to expand. It's very difficult to afford to expand. And obviously, if you cut units, you're cutting the main bonus of what you're doing. He's already got +1 attack, though. That's going to be a massive thing to help this timing push. And of course, Avi has absolutely no idea what Ziggy is doing behind this. Now, this is a big power play. Look at this Mutalist switch coming in. 12 Mutalists flying straight over, and Ziggy, he has a good number of Mutalists, but did he skimp on turrets? Yes, he did. He's now trying to add on 2 turrets now. This is a little bit too late. If Avi just goes in, he's going to be able to cancel the turrets. No, he's not going in immediately. He's unsure when to go in at least, or what angle to come in. And the turret does finish, but is that turret going to be enough? I don't really think it is. Obviously, the Mute is going to be taking quite a lot of damage. There is Goliaths at the back, so he's not going to maybe get the damage he wanted to. And actually going to lose 2 of the Mutas for just 2 turrets. Not the best of trades here from Avi, but still a big amount of damage coming in. Now, do we have +1 Carapace coming in? Yes, we do. So +1 Carapace is going to give the Mutalists a lot of survivability. But the trouble is, until then, +1 attack is done. So the Goliath's going to be a lot of additional damage against the Protoss. Against the Mutalisks. Man, my words are mincing completely today. Now, a couple of Vultures going to move down here. Not going to see the base. But they are going to go and check the other main. That's a little bit unfortunate, but obviously there are a few muteless over here, but that's not really enough to defend these drones. And Avi's economy is starting to go a little bit crazy. Oh my god, is he going to get the armory? If he gets the armory, this could be massive. He's throwing away a lot of muteless to do this though, but oh my god, he gets it! And +1 armor does not finish. A last second pick off there by Avi. Ziggy, for some reason, not going to repair his armory. That's a massive moment in this game. He doesn't have a second armory, so he's not going to build any additional Goliaths. He's going to have to go tank and vulture until the armory's done. And his big plot, like 1-1 timing push, it's not going to happen. He doesn't have 1 armor. He's still going to have to push here though. And let's see how much damage he can actually do. Obviously, Avi, to take out that armory, took a lot of damage on his mutelisks. Lost a lot of units as well. And I mean, if Ziggy pushes towards the 12 o'clock location, Avi still has this base over here. So all is not lost. But is Ziggy just going to try and expand behind this? I think, to be honest, that may be his best choice. But I mean, look at how long it takes Goliath to kill Muteless. It's absolutely ridiculous. Muteless do less damage against Goliath, or Goliaths do less damage against Muteless because of the way Goliath attack works. They do less damage versus small units, I think it is, which is what the Muteless is. So a little bit better for the Muteless, and obviously with +1 carapace, it makes things a lot better. Now, oh my god, that mine. One lucky thing for Ziggy is he did go for attack first. If he went for armor first and +1 attack was delayed, he would be in massive, massive trouble right now. But Avi taking a ton of damage to his Goliath, or to his Muteless here. Goliaths, there is still a ton of them. He's unable to build any additional ones. Only now is the armory just finished. But he has a ton of Goliaths already. This is around 2.5 control groups, I think, just by looking at it. And I mean, this is a really, really powerful mech ball. Like, quite literally. It's balled up. And here we go. The Hydra is going to try and come in. Hydras versus mech is the solution. A lot of people say that Hydras aren't good against mech. Yes, they're not. But the benefit of Hydras is they're mobile and you have a ton of them. Which means if you can get a good flank going, you can do a ton of damage to these siege tanks. Here we go. Looks like Avi is going to try and push in. The Hydra's coming in from multiple angles. The Muteless coming in at the back, trying to take down these back tanks. Obviously the tanks at the back holding strong for the moment, but Avi is slowly managing to push through, at least on the bottom side. No, he pulls back. A lot of the tanks have been taken down though, and Ziggy is going to have to reinforce before he pushes forward. Now, one of the bonuses is here, he did take out a ton of those Goliaths, and there is still a ton of Hydras left. And look at this, the queen count is relatively big. 7 queens, they all have enough, almost, for Broodling. We finally get to see some more Spawn Broodling in the STPL, one of my favorite spells to watch go down. And with all of the Goliaths being taken down, queens are going to be very, very strong. Now, the trouble is, Ziggy has finally seen that 4th base, so he does know that Avi's position is better than he thinks. Now here we go, the Queen's going to be coming in from the top side, not cloning very well though, so he's going to lose a lot of the Hydras before the Queens can get in, but does manage to Broodling 3 of the tanks. The final tank at the back going to be Broodling as well for good measure, and obviously the tanks are the big power play in this army, as the Hydras don't really do that well against Mass Goliath, but at least they do better if there's no tanks there. But taking a mine hit there, doing a lot of damage, and Ziggy's army is very, very strong right now. The bonus for Avi, of course, is his economy. But without units, how can you defend your economy? There is a ton of queens heading up to the 12 o'clock location, getting ready to come back in for another Broodling. Obviously, he has used 4 of his Spawn Broodlings, so that's a little bit unfortunate. There is only 2 tanks, though, at least at the front of this push. Now, Hydra's clearing out some of those units. The Queen's coming over. There's no... Oh, here we go. Looks like he has actually managed to clone these quite well. But look at this. The Spawn Broodling not going to go down from that Queen. Oh, he's not going to get that one either. That's a massive pick-off here by Ziggy, as every single Spawn Broodling is incredibly important. Now we'll check Ziggy's bases in just a second. Abby is going to go forward once again. There's a lot of minerals in the natural, don't forget. Oh, big mine. Oh my god, these mines are absolutely ridiculous here for Ziggy. He's doing a ton of damage to Abby's army. Abby's army is decimated right now to the very small amount of units that are left. Now in terms of money, Ziggy not very healthy in his main. His natural is still very healthy due to the way this map works, so this is certainly a benefit for Ziggy here in this game, and he is going to be able to break up and take out this third base most likely. Obviously the other natural is still going to be fine. There's a lot of Sunkens being added on, and we have a big Muta switch coming in. He's killed a ton of Goliaths, and if he can get in with Mutalist here, they only have +1 carapace at the moment. +2 is on the way, though a very, very long way away. But the Mutalist obviously going to be very, very strong. If he can pick off the tanks, maybe he can pick off the Goliaths as well. Ziggy is actually not going to take down the expansion just yet, which is kind of an interesting play. Ziggy's going to take a third base, and here come the Mutalists. Let's see what they can do. This is obviously a ton of Goliaths, but is this just too many Mutas? Nice starter step by Abby, by Ziggy as well. But look at this, the Goliath count is getting completely annihilated here, and the mass Muta switch really catching Ziggy off guard. He's going to be able to clean up all of the tanks in the middle of the map, and you can already see Ziggy is pulling everything back. He knows he has to save these tanks for a later date, and there is no Goliaths. He started to build a lot of vultures, and that's not going to help you. Now the gas in the main getting very low, the gas in the natural about halfway done. This base is going to be so unbelievably important for Ziggy to be able to keep up, and Avi is going to be able to go into a fourth base of his own. Now we have Hive Tech finally. Is there going to be Plague? Is there going to be a Defiler Mound? No Defiler Mound just yet, interestingly enough. But definitely Avi with an advantage in this game now. Okay, Avi just going to try and kill time in the middle of the map. He knows he doesn't have to go and kill his opponent. It's up to Ziggy to come and kill him. And obviously we've got a ton more queens actually coming in here. That's very, very exciting to see. The more queens we get, the more spawn broodlings, the more likely there are to be an amazing like STPL highlight moment where we see Avi just spawn broodling every single unit that Ziggy has. But obviously Avi gonna have to go down here and do a little bit of damage. There's not actually that many turrets here, so these oh my god, the irradiate could be so big, but he doesn't. Oh my god, he doesn't have the energy. The vessel goes down, and the Mutalisks do survive. There's not actually that many Mutalisks back though. Oh my god, he's going to try and dive on the starport here. That could be absolutely massive, but the Mutalist taking a ton of damage. He's trying to get some damage done in the main, but if he loses these Mutas, that's the main bulk of his army. So this is a difficult situation. The Science Facility's been forced to lift. The starport's going to go down, and with no irradiate, how are you going to deal with these Mutalisks? An additional science vessel does manage to come out. It's going to try and fly away, and the Muta is going to pull all the Goliaths back into the main and fly back over to this third base. A lot of additional turrets being added on over here though. So Avi's Mutalisks are actually getting a little bit stuck down here. Now, do we have Guardians on the way? No, we do not. Still no Defiler Mound. +3 carapace though coming in for the Mutalist. Going to be very important for not only the Goliaths, also the Queens. Oh my god, is he going to infest the command center? That's going to be difficult because he needs to force it to lift, but I need to see an infested command center. We've only seen one of them in the STPL across 2 seasons. Oh, going to get a couple of drones here. Nice pick off. And look at the Hydralisks. Let's have a look at the upgrades. +2 attack for them. The mech is only on 1-1. No 2-1 is finished. And here come the Hydralisks. They're going to run up to this fourth or third base even. And they're going to take out all of the turrets. And that's when the Mutalisks swoop in and try and go for the infest. But where are the Queens gone? Oh, here come the Queens now. Let's have a look at those Broodlings. One on that back tank. One of the Queens does go down, but 2 Broodlings additional going down as well. He's not going to be able to cancel this CC, so he is going to just try and fight as equally as possible as he can on the top of the ramp. The extra CC down here going to be super important but Ziggy holds on. Now the Mutalisk's going to fly in. They have a little bit of extra health, so they're going to be able to get away from here, which is something they couldn't do before, but they're going to go back into the main and see if he can get some more units done. 2 carapaces done, obviously. Without +2 attack, these Goliaths are not going to be doing very, very much at all to those Mutalisks. And Abby is in a very, very good spot. Now, there is still a big army from Ziggy. He still has the option of expanding again. He actually lost a few of the Hydralisks to a mine back there as well. And all of his Mutalisks are dying, so Abby does definitely need to still be careful. Ziggy is certainly in a position where he can win from here. All of the minerals in the main have gone down. +2 attack is finally on the way. +2 armor is not. The natural is start to dry up now though, and that is a ticking time bomb here for Ziggy, as he is going to need to expand to another base. It looks like he's going to try and take this other base here. As a matter of fact, I think that naturally the other main would be better. Obviously Abby has his bases. They're still quite healthy, so nothing really to worry about there. Still no Defiler Mound, which is a very, very interesting decision. Going for a second Spire. Oh, he's going to go double Spire upgrades, likely for a Greater Spire here, and then go into attack upgrades from this. That's a really, really clever decision. There we go. Greater Spire coming in. That's going to be good for Guardians on these 4 Mutalisks over here. And look at this, we've got triple turret coming up where he's trying to send his CC, but he's got no units on the ground to defend them. This is definitely a weird situation to go in, but here we go. Looks like he is going to break through. His base in the top right has been cancelled by a few Mutalisks, so he's not going to be able to expand up here. And he is going to be able to take this base. Abby actually building a hatchery in the way. Kind of a funny... it's kind of BM, but it's kind of not, because Abby's kind of just wasting money there, but... I definitely don't count Ziggy out this game. Obviously, he's taken... Oh, mine. Obviously, Ziggy has taken a ton of damage from Abby this game, but, I mean, it's mech versus Zerg, and when you get up to max with mech as Zerg, you're in an incredible position. Now, the tanks aren't sieged up, so this is going to be a good engagement here from Abby, but he's going to be forced to pull back after those tanks siege. Now here come the Mutalisks. Oh my god, that was definitely not... That was Queens even, and that was definitely... not done very well. They did go down. If you do not do, like, oh, he gets one of the spawn. Oh, he gets 2 spawn broodlings off. That's something. But if the queen is using its animation and the animation is in the air when the queen dies, the spell does not work. Now Abby continuing to push forward. Ziggy certainly in a difficult spot still, but with a ton of units. Abby, this is the majority of his army up here, at least for now, and he is going to try and trade as effectively as he possibly can. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to for the moment, so he is going to pull back to the higher ground and see if he can pick off a few additional units. Looks like Ziggy doesn't want to go for this. Now, Ziggy still has a relatively big army. Could he pick off these drones in the middle? There is going to be Guardians, though, spawning over here in the bottom right-hand position, which are going to be super important. But is he going to be able to defend his bases? This is a ton of Goliaths. And there's not actually that much up here to defend. Now, it looks like we do have an expansion being cancelled down here, at least being forced to lift. Here come the Goliaths into the 4th base of Abby, though. Looks like we do have Hydras running into the 3rd base. The Guardians now coming in as well. Attacks going on absolutely everywhere on this map right now. And it looks like the command center was actually taken down in the bottom right, which is very, very unfortunate. But the Goliaths are going to cancel the 3rd base of Ziggy. Ziggy is nearly entirely mined out, but he's going to take out all of the mining of Abby. Now, a lot of the Hydralisks are coming back to try and defend against this. Obviously, the mech army is split in 2, but if he sieges this tank, if he takes out all of these hatcheries, he could be in a very good spot. Abby isn't really mining anymore. He's mining off his natural, but that's the final remaining base. Final mining base remaining for Abby. Ziggy is doing a really, really good job. Looks like Abby may hold on to this top base, but the main has gone down. The issue is the Goliaths have ravaged this base down here. Ziggy's still mining, though, and Goliaths do clear up the final Guardians. But Ziggy has still got a relatively big army. He's got the high ground on these Goliaths. The Goliaths... Oh, the mine! Oh, that could have been big. Whoa. That would have been a GG Amo mine there. Damn. Now we've got Ziggy trying to take another base now. Looks like we've got Hydralisks on the ramp. The mine blows up the other mine, so it looks like Abby is going to be able to break through. But with the Vulture coming in behind, he might be able to hold on for a little bit longer. and the Goliaths at the top have pushed forward. They are going to try and trade efficiently with the Hydras. Probably better to keep them on the high ground. But it's important to note that Avi is very close to mined out here, and so is Ziggy. Ziggy's third base almost fully mined out. This fourth base is all that's going to be mining here for Ziggy right now. Avi has reclaimed the 12 o'clock base. It's pretty healthy. His third base is mined out. His natural is almost gone, and his main is certainly mined out. Now let's see if Ziggy can hold on against Avi's massive Hydralisk army here in the middle of the map. There's no more queens, but there is a ton of Guardians, and this could be the nail in the coffin. Let's see how well he can trade with this. Obviously, 4 Goliaths do need to be microed back. They cannot fight head up against Guardians. And if the Guardians win against the Goliaths, there is nothing to defend the tanks other than mines. Avi double expanding again in the top middle position. The tanks being forced back. There is a single Wraith here. This is going to help a little bit. He is going to be able to take down these Guardians slowly but surely, but they've got +3 carapace. So he's only doing 17 damage per hit. And that is not a position you want to be in. And look, the Guardians are going to clean up the tanks, and then the Hydras, they're going to run into the base. We've got a ton of Goliaths coming in here, but without any tanks, he's not going to be able to deal with the Hydras. And this is a very, very close game. Looks like Avi may have done it, though. This is the final remaining units from Ziggy on this map right now, and the final mining base as well. And GG, Ziggy taps out, and Avi takes a very, very important win over NetWars. That was a very, very sick game. I'm very glad to have been able to bring that to you guys. And obviously a huge shout out to both Avi and Ziggy for being able to play it as well. Now, that was the end of our second series of today. We're obviously going to give the win to NetWars here. Super, super important. Yeah, looks like it was the Colombian flag that didn't appear in one of the previous games. But let's quickly give the win to Avi there and ReV. Really, really well played by them. And ReV actually won against NetWars without having both of their best players playing. So really, really good job by them. Unfortunate for NetWars, of course, one of our stronger teams from Season 1. But losing Bonith the Soul is definitely hurting their roster at the moment. I really feel like NetWars need to get like a linchpin for their roster. Like Koga, obviously really, really good player. True Touch I don't think is playing in team leagues anymore, so unfortunately they don't have him. Yeti is obviously super strong as well, but there isn't that kind of third linchpin like they always had with Bonith, True Touch, Koga. Ziggy obviously a very strong player, but unfortunately not strong enough there to take down Avi. Let's bring up the results screen. Let's quickly round up that series. Really, really good series overall. Really, really fun to watch. We had Koga taking game number 1, CRVT taking game number 2, Avi taking game number 3 with a Hydra Bust, Ziggy taking game number 4, and Avi taking game number 5 in the ace match on New Tornado, and doing a very, very good job with it as well. As that's going to take us into our final series of today. After this break, it's going to be Soul versus White Clan. You heard it here. We are having a rematch of the STPL Season 1 Grand Finals. It should be amazing. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it. And I'll be back in a few minutes with the series.